Health insurance optimization. That's what we're going to talk about on today's Elements in Focus. If you're tuning in for the first time, which many of you are not, but if you are, this is our weekly video series where myself and our advisor team, or Sam and our advisor team, are breaking down our 5 critical elements. Today, we're going to talk about health insurance. We're in the risk management and life happens category of our 5 critical elements. This is a topic that comes up pretty often in our conversations in the office, especially if you're going to retire early or you're just in an open window for benefits. And so want to know, hey, are we taking advantage of all of the benefits that we have? So Sam is one of our partners. He leads our planning team. He's got an extensive knowledge of our 5 critical elements. I'm going to turn it over to Sam. We're going to talk through some of that. Anything you want to say before we dive in, Sam?
No, it's a good introduction, Aaron. Health insurance is a weighty topic. It's an
Yes.
often misunderstood topic. It's a vast amount of information and a lot of things to consider as to what is or isn't the right choice. And you typically have to make that choice in a very scrunched down window
Yeah.
where someone says, "Hi, HR benefits coordinator or employee, we need you to go ahead and choose what you're going to do for the next year." So I will try to keep this relatively high level. Of course, if anybody after this, it sparks some question, of course, give us a call and we're happy to talk through these options. But where I'll start is typically when you're thinking about health insurance, I tell anybody you really want to assess what type of coverage you need from a what are my needs scenario. So take the money out of it. How often are you going to the doctor? Are there any chronic conditions that you're battling? Is there any sort of big expense that you expect in the next year or so? So a great example I'll use is my own situation. My wife and I welcomed our baby boy into the world this year, and anticipating for that, we selected a plan that was a higher monthly premium, but it lowered our deductibles dramatically and our
Mm-hmm.
maximum out of pocket. So understanding we don't have a crystal ball. It's hard to know if we're going to fall and hurt ourselves, anything like that. But if there's things that you're anticipating, we can shift the focus of what we're trying to do with our health insurance selection to make sure that we're optimizing getting the best possible care that we need at the best possible prices. Very typically, you're going to see health maintenance organizations or preferred provider organizations. So with HMOs and PPOs, the big difference to know there is just how your coordination of care is done. HMOs are typically going to be a little bit lower cost, and you're going to have to select a primary care provider. They're going to kind of be your gatekeeper, right? So if you want to go see a specialist, they're going to have to say, this is a specialist that you can go see. This is something that you need. So it's a little bit more limited, but it's also a little more cost effective if you don't see yourself as needing a lot of extra care. PPOs, on the other hand, give you a much larger network of specialists to work with, and you can go select who you want to work with. It also gives you the opportunity to look at out of network benefits. So maybe you like most of the people that are inside of your network, but there's somebody else that you wanted to see outside of your network. It would give you some opportunity to still have some coverage there. But looking at your network is really, really important when you're selecting what type of insurance plan you're going to use. So it can be overwhelming, but if you know that you like certain providers, it is very prudent to make sure that you go and look and see if the plan that you're about to select is going to be covered by those actual providers. Otherwise, you can really make it a much less cost effective type plan for yourself. Looking a little bit further, we talked about assessing a family's needs. If you're a relatively healthy individual, healthy family that you don't think you're going to need a lot of use out of this plan, we often recommend high deductible plans. It's going to lower that burden on your monthly premiums. It will cause a little bit more out of pocket when something comes up, but we're making that calculated decision that We don't think that we're going to need this, and it is in fact here for an emergency. So that's the route that we would typically go. Those will start to bring into play what's known as a health savings account, or an HSA, as most people hear about. The Big Beautiful Bill has since expanded our ability to use health savings accounts in the plans that we have. But what we tell most folks is, if you can, we often would prefer that you don't use the health savings account after you put the money into it. That sounds like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but let me explain why. Health savings accounts are a true unicorn account. They allow money to go in tax deductible. They grow tax free. And if you use them for qualified medical care, the withdrawals are tax free. So the biggest way that you can get a benefit from this is to put money into it and let compounding within the account create more and more tax-free buckets of money that you can use for healthcare in the future, right? They always say that the two things you can count on in life are death and taxes. With death comes healthcare. So we want to make sure that we have a nice bucket of money that grows tax-free, and we can maximize that. Obviously, don't make that stop you from being able to get the care that you need, but it is a thing that you should be working on with your planner to make sure that you have healthcare costs non-HSA set aside, HSA contributions set aside to be able to grow that account tax-free. Um, Other things that we would talk to folks about, and I want to try to make sure that I'm a little bit concise. There's many topics here, but a lot of your insurance plans will offer benefits if you do preventative measures. So I highly
Mhm.
recommend you take advantage of those. Go for your primary care visit. If you there's like all sorts of interesting and neat ideas, like put in that you did a certain type of exercise or that you walked X
Like,
many miles. They
yep.
will give you monetary benefits for these things, and you don't even, you want to go out and buy a book, buy something with it, anything you want. You don't have to necessarily spend it on healthcare, but it is money back to you. And more than anything, it's just good practices to take care of your body to make sure that you don't need to use these benefits. So it's a win-win. As we tell anybody, you only get one life, so you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself the best you can. Other things that you should consider when you're looking at your health care. A lot of times we have two working spouses. Do we decide to go onto the same plan? Do we select just our own plan? A lot of times you want to look at what's the cost to add a spouse to your insurance if they turn down their insurance benefits, or um, is it more cost effective for our children to go onto one plan or the other? It does become a bit of a discussion where you have to compare some of these benefits when you're looking at things. But more than anything, it's just about assessing your situation, taking a look at the things that you need, and making sure that your plan aligns with what you need. Just with anything else we do with financial planning, and Aaron would tell you this as well, coffee house conversations with friends is not the best way to make these decisions. A lot of times you're going to hear from somebody, it's better to do it this way, but they don't understand the things that you need. They don't understand the prescriptions that you're on. They don't understand the family dynamic that you have. So we encourage you to as overwhelming as insurance planning can be, to take the time to really look into the things that you need and have a discussion with your advisor to make sure that we are making something that fits with your plan. So, Aaron, that's a relatively long-winded answer when I said I would be concise, but I could probably go for another 4 hours if we needed to, because health insurance is such a vast space. So I'll kick it back to you, and if there's anything else we need to cover, I'm happy to do so.
No, Sam, you did an excellent job. There are so many just little pieces of good nuggets there. One thing just to reiterate is that health savings account, the HSA. Um, Not many people know that there's an investment option to a lot of those. So as Sam mentioned, if you can contribute to an HSA, take full advantage of that, but check to see if your HSA allows dollars to be invested. Some plans don't. Some just keep them in just a regular money market account. The ones that we do here, the ones that we have personally here, ours can be invested. You have to keep a certain minimum in the cash account, like $1,000 or $2,000, but anything over and above that you can invest, and it is very wise for long-term value of that account, because you could use it for potential Medicare premiums. You can use it towards long-term care planning. There's just so many benefits to the HSA. With that being said, if you want a review of your health insurance options, if you're an open enrollment period currently and you're trying to make a decision, as Sam said, in a short window of time, please reach out to us, 800-928-4001. You can go to yourlifeafterwork.com or scan the QR code on the screen. It'll take you to a contact us page, link you directly to our calendars, and you can book with one of our awesome advisors on the team. Thank you so much for watching. You all have a blessed day.